All the offseason talk is about Kirk Cousins joining the NFC South. But we're forgetting that Baker Mayfield is back in Tampa and will have the last laugh when the season unfolds. How's it going today? My name is Jesse McNamer and welcome to Point of View. Before we get into it today, I just want to say we always appreciate your feedback and look forward to reading your comments like the one we've got here. Also, be sure to stay tuned to the end of this episode to see if you can guess today's trivia question down below. To today's topic, are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the team to beat in the NFC South? With Baker Mayfield returning on a 3-year, $100 million deal, I'd say there's no doubt until another team can prove otherwise. That team could be the Falcons, and I'll admit I'm guilty of hyping up the Kirk Cousins addition. Don't get me wrong, it was the right move for Atlanta, but that's still a 35-year-old QB coming off a torn Achilles that ended his season. There's a lot more questions than there are with Baker, who will just be 29 in September. Tampa Bay knows what they're going to get with him. An absolute dog who just had the best season of his career in his real first season in a stable situation. Head coach Todd Bowles wasn't always so sure about Baker, but he definitely is now. Here's Bowles on his QB.
We have a solid quarterback that's played. After Tom left, we didn't really have a guy that's played any snaps that stepped up in there, but having gone through a year with him, knowing we have a quarterback at that position and it's solidified, you feel more comfortable that way.
That's another reason to believe in Baker more than Kirk. While I think Kirk can do a lot with the weapons he has in Atlanta, Baker has a season's worth of experience in the Bucs system, and it went as good as they could have hoped last year. And it doesn't hurt that they re-signed Mike Evans on a 2-year deal and added O-line depth. Last season, with a very similar roster, the Bucs went 9-8 and won the division, while Baker tossed for over 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns with a career-high 64.3 completion percentage. That's while getting to know a new offense and having to make improvised plays like this. With 5 yards between him and the end zone, Baker extends the play as long as possible while keeping his eyes downfield. It looks like he's finally ready to bail out when Devin Tompkins gets free and Baker puts it where only his guy can get it. That's a big play in a tight game against a division rival. Now, if we want to compare his raw stats to Cousins, Kirk will win that argument. But it's not all about yards and touchdowns. Just ask Dak Prescott. Cousins had arguably the most successful season of his career with the Minnesota Vikings in 2022, which is the last time he played a full season. He threw for 4,500 yards and 29 touchdowns, while the Vikings won 13 regular season games. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, he had the most pass attempts of his career while having his second lowest yards per attempt average at 7.1. And while they were the third seed in the playoffs, they lost to the Giants in the wildcard round. Yikes. Baker, on the other hand, had a higher QB rating in 2023 than Kirk in 2022, and threw just 10 picks while Kirk had 14. Marginal maybe, but it's a good sign for things to come for Baker, while Cousins could be on the decline. And that decline is already shown in his legs. From 2017 to 2021, Kirk rushed for over 100 yards in 4 of those 5 seasons on an average of 37 attempts. In 2022, Kirk got loose just 31 times and was below the 100-yard mark for the first time since 2019. He was also sacked 46 times, the most of his career. He's clearly not as elusive in the pocket as he once was. And maybe that's sort of true for Baker, but he still has a lot more left in the tank. Take a look at this play from Week 16 last year during a tight playoff race. On 3rd and 6, Baker looks downfield, but the pocket quickly collapses, and he's forced to go straight ahead towards the defensive backs. He lowers his shoulder and bulldozes through 2 defenders for the conversion. Is Kirk doing that? For his sake, I really hope not. For all those reasons, that's enough to pick Baker and the Bucs over Kirk and the Falcons. But we haven't even gotten to the 2 QBs' playoff success. Cousins has been in the league for 12 years, twice as long as Baker, yet has nothing more to show for it. He started 4 total playoff games and has a grand total of 1 playoff win. Even Case Keenum was able to manage that with the Vikings. Baker's only made the playoffs twice in his 6 years, but won the first game in both postseasons, and that includes the Cleveland Browns' first postseason win since 1994. So pure stats and longevity, sure, take Kirko Chainz with his new weapons. But if I'm just looking for the quarterback who will lead their team the most wins in 2024, I think Baker's the clear choice. And we've been on the Baker train for a while. For more on how he proved he's the franchise guy last season, check out our recent Point of View. And the moment you've been waiting for, here's the answer to today's trivia question. We appreciate you tuning into this episode of Point of View, and we will see you in the next one.